Hi everybody, my name is Ashley Van Gilder and I'm here to present over the case study Internet Use Violations Threats over the World Wide Web. This is for EDL 850 Module 14 at Fort Hays State University. So what do I know about this case study? So Dr. Smith is the principal at Slattery-Steno High School. Slattery-Steno High School is in an affluent area with high-level professionals as parents. They are doctors, lawyers, any kind of profession that you would think of as a high level requiring a secondary education. Dr. Smith is the principal. He is respected by the other principals. He even won the Principal of the Year and was voted on to win this award by the other principals in the region. He is also very proud of this reputation that he has at his school. He's very respected by his parents as well as his teachers. Dr. Smith hires only the most highly qualified teachers to teach at his school. So the other person that we have within this case study is our teacher, Miss Tate. She was hired as a beginning teacher by Mr. Smith to teach specialized science courses dealing with zoology, botany, and genetics. Miss Tate has a serious approach in her classroom in which students experience a high level of stress. There's quite a bit of rigor within her course load. Many parents have complained that their child is going to get a low grade. Dr. Smith has given Ms. Tate strategies to help alleviate student stress and increase positive interactions with students. Many of these parents are concerned that their child is not going to be valedictorian or salutatorian of their school, and that is highly valued in this school. So in our situation, it was a long weekend in November. It was over Veterans Day weekend, and Ms. Tate came home and then checked her email on Sunday afternoon. She received an anonymous email to check a website for a message. When she clicked and viewed that website, it had very suggestive comments in regard to her personal life and about her class rigor. The final statement on the site asked, "Who wants Miss Tate to disappear?" And then immediately after that, Miss Tate reports the information to her principal, where he determined that the website was just a prank by some students. He asked Miss Tate for the information so he could view the website. He got off the phone with her, went back and reviewed the material on the site, and then came back to Miss Tate and said that he thought it was some pranks. However, even though he believes that it is a prank, Dr. Smith is going to investigate the incident further. So some things that I need to know is what strategies have been suggested to Miss Tate to better balance the rigor in her classroom with better student-to-teacher relationships. Is there a reason they haven't worked? Is there a reason why she didn't implement them in her classroom in the first place? Have there been similar things said about Miss Tate? The things that were found on the website, has it been said in the hallways, anything like that? And then what are the school policies in regards to these kinds of threats? What are the next steps that the school is going to take? And then who created this website? And what was meant by, does Miss Tate need to disappear? Is it possible that others know about the website? Was it just one person using it as like a burn book or something similar? So the problem that we have here is that Miss Tate feels harassed by her students and parents based on the rigor of her classroom. Miss Tate also needs guidance on how to add compassion to her classroom and reach all of her students. And then students need to realize that what they say online does not just go away, and that there can actually be legal ramifications for harassing others online. So that one of my plans of action is to determine who created the website. In order to move forward, to know what was going on, we need to know who created it. So Dr. Smith needs to meet with students and parents to determine what they know about the situation. Was it one person? Was it a parent? Does it have to be a student? Have the district technologist and law enforcement work on determining where the email and website originated. My husband's the director of IT, and I know that at his job, and I know that he's been able to go through and determine where certain things have come from. And then also, once all of this has been determined, the administration needs to follow district guidelines in regards to determining a course of consequence. And then also another plan is to make sure that Ms. Tate feels safe and appreciated. After this, I can just imagine what she's going through. We need to reassure Ms. Tate that the culprit will be found. Even if the consequences are small, just having her know that, or know the whole situation and know that everything is going to be fine. Need to explain to Ms. Tate that a course can be rigorous while she shows compassion for the development of her students. Just because the course is hard doesn't mean that she can choose not to listen to her students and respond to their levels of stress. And then maybe also find a mentor teacher for Ms. Tate. This person can help her balance the rigor of her courses with compassion for her students. And then a final plan of action is to educate students and parents about the ramifications of online harassment and cyberbullying. Have a meeting with students and then with their parents to discuss the topics of cyberbullying and the consequences. Can also design a curriculum that teaches students about their online footprint and how to be better digital citizens. I know our district does this with our kids, and it's a spiral effect. It starts out when they're kindergartners, and everything that they see in kindergarten is going to eventually repeat all the way through their senior year of high school. And then the district needs to follow through with consequences of online harassment. So to resolve the issues based on promoting the academic success and personal well-being of every student, teaching students about the ramifications about what they post online. That is very important and needs to be taught to students, and it will lead to better interaction online and better psychological health for our students. And they should also know that their digital footprint just doesn't disappear. A lot of them think that once they post something and it's deleted, that it'll never show up again. But there's many ways that information can be saved. We also need to be respectful of others, even if you don't agree with them. The students may not agree with Ms. Tate's teaching methods, but maybe there's a respectful way that they could bring it up with her and have a discussion. And then same with Ms. Tate. Maybe she could show some respect to her students and listen to their problems that they're having. And then another way to help ensure the personal well-being of every student and also the academic success of every student is to mentor teachers on best teaching practices and how to incorporate them in their daily lessons. I learned so much in my first couple of years of teaching, and a lot of it is due to the mentor teacher that I had. She was very knowledgeable. Even though we didn't teach the same core content, she still had a lot of practices that I still use today to help reach all students. So my personal response to the problem, I was just thinking, like, how could Dr. Smith think that this was a prank without investigating any further? I was like, he's just throwing this off to the side and completely ignoring how Miss Tate is feeling. And then I was also thinking, like, when it was mentioning how she was having issues with her students and parents complaining about the rigor, like, maybe Miss Tate should take advice from other teachers, not just her principal, and listen to the advice and just implement parts of it. You don't have to implement everything. And then I was also thinking about how great rigor is for classes, but students don't need to be stressed all the time. Sometimes you can get the best work out of kids when they're having fun and are thinking and are lighthearted. I was also feeling frustrated at the principal for not seeing that this problem was escalating, and that I was also feeling that Miss Tate hasn't been set up for success. Yes, she's an older teacher, but she is just starting out teaching. You can't just assume that because she's gone through her undergrad and her master's and has spent years doing these things that she is automatically prepared for the classroom. And then I was also saddened that Miss Tate could not feel safe at her home. the fact that she had to drive back to her parents' house, which was 3 hours away, on a Sunday night, the day before school, which means that on Monday she had to drive 3 hours into work. I was very saddened that Miss Tate had to go through that whole situation and was felt that she was put in that situation. But I do value the fact that Miss Tate was holding her students to a higher standard. Her course is rigorous, which leads to a higher standard and expectation of students. I also value that Dr. Smith values highly qualified teachers. And I also value that the parents in this situation want what is best for their students. I mean, to have parents that are involved and care about student learning is very valuable. So some unresolved issues that I saw was who set up the website and what was its intent. We didn't get all the way through this, so I wasn't able to be resolved there. Could it have been a parent who created this website? Doesn't necessarily need to be a student. And then, what are some of the reasons why Miss Tate did not successfully implement Dr. Smith's techniques? Did they not work for her? Just because they work for one teacher doesn't mean it works for another or another's teaching style. And then what were the techniques? What was she being told to do? When I initially read this, I was thinking that the parents are complaining that this was a tough course load and that their children were worried about being valedictorians or salutatorians. And I was like, is the principal just going to tell her to make the course easy so the kids can get an A? Like, what are these techniques that she is having issues implementing? And then, as an educational leader, how I would promote success of every student by acting with integrity is that I would model integrity. I would trust Miss Tate in her situation and use all means possible to find a solution. I would also help Miss Tate be successful in her classroom and find a balance between rigor and student-teacher relationships. A lot of that goes back to finding her maybe a mentor teacher that could help guide her through the process of building a strong relationship within the classroom with your students. And then also promoting the success of every student by acting with fairness. I would not accuse any single student. In this one, Miss Tate automatically accuses a student, but as a building leader, I would maybe take that accusation and put it in the back of my mind, but then when I talk to students, I wouldn't single any one kid out. I would ask a variety of students if they had knowledge of a website that degrades Miss Tate without actually stating the whole situation. I don't want to put words in the kids' mouths when maybe they don't know about the situation. I would also treat students respectfully and let them know to do the same to all individuals, whether it be other students or other teachers. And then also remind everyone of the consequences of their actions and that everyone is held to the same standard. Just because you're a teacher doesn't mean that you can do anything, and same with a student. We're all responsible for our own actions. And then promoting success of every student by acting in an ethical manner, I would uphold the rules and guidelines set by the board policy. I would also include parents in the process, since the students are minors. And then I would also listen to both sides of the case and make a decision based on facts rather than emotion. In this type of situation, it's pretty easy to get emotionally involved. So I would try and stay separated from it enough to be able to make a decision based on facts. That's it for my presentation. It's been a great semester.